Today I'm hiking a chunk of the Camino Real de Tierra Adentro, which stretches from Mexico City all the way up to San Juan Pueblo in northern New Mexico, also known as Oñate. The Spanish conquistador Juan de Oñate first took this route back in 1598, and he's credited with not only settling New Mexico, but also being the first governor of Nuevo, México. This part of the trail is really nice. It's rolling hills around it. It stays mostly down the valleys. This is about the last time of the year that you can hike this because it's going to get really hot really soon. Oñate was a Spaniard born in Zapoteca in what's now Mexico, but his family was from Spain, and his father was from Oñate in the Basque Country in the north of Spain. A little vertical through a nice meadow. After marching north across Mexico, Oñate got to El Paso and essentially took the Rio Grande route to northern New Mexico, but just south of here, the Rio Grande has some really rough terrain, so Oñate and his entourage had to go inland, and they went right along the same path. As you can see, it's a flatter area and a lot easier to travel on, but it was very difficult for the wagons because of the sand, especially in the summertime. It starts at Headquarters Well Trailhead. It goes about 5.5 miles down to Dead Dog Trailhead. In the far background, you can see Chicama Peak, which is on the Santa Clara Reservation. In the background, you can see Pulgar del Diablo, or the Devil's Thumb. It's a nice hike. You have to bushwhack the bottom part, and then once you get to the top, it's hands and knees to crawl over the rocks. It's pretty steep, but the view is spectacular back towards Santa Fe and the Sangre de Cristo. In the valley is Portales Pond, which is really pretty optimistic. I've been coming over here for 7 years and I've never seen water in it. After a nice hike across a ridge, it's time for a little descend down into the valley. It'll warm up a little bit. Oñate was married, but he didn't bring his spouse on this trek. He brought along 2,000 head of cattle and horses, 700 men, and 200 carretas to carry freight. Interestingly, Oñate's spouse was Isabel, and she was the granddaughter of the Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés, and she was the great-granddaughter of the Aztec Emperor Moctezuma II. Talk about a family lineage. These occasional trail markers make a great perch for birds. Conditions were difficult, to say the least, during Oñate's expedition and settlement. The summers were hot and dry, and the winters were cold and rough. So he had a few deserters. And back in the day, deserting was not a good thing to do. So Oñate sent his men after the deserters. They were headed back towards Mexico. And let's just say that they had a capital punishment situation going on, which didn't exactly endear Oñate to the Spanish crown. But he avoided any consequences for a number of years before finally his enemies got the best of him, and Oñate got in a bit of trouble with the crown. Here's an empty box canyon. I think I'll take a little side trip for some recreation. On the trail, there's a swallows flying around. Well, since I won't be going to Pamplona this year in July, this is about as close as I'm going to get to a cow, unfortunately. Crossing this arroyo. This arroyo leads down to Diablo Canyon, and beyond that to the Rio Grande. It's about 5-6 miles from here. It's a nice little jaunt for another day. Just reached the end of today's trail, the Dead Dog Trailhead, which for me is a pretty unfortunate name these days. In any case, it was a nice morning, getting away from coronavirus and get away from everything. Hasta la vista. Looks like my ride's here.